I had my children on the floor. I was on my favourite blanket that my grandmother gave me on the floor like a cat.
And I realised in that moment the potential of what our bodies can really do as women.
Like I could feel his head, I could do my own internal, like, yeah, his head, I could feel it.
I was in tears, I was just in tears and overwhelmed with gratitude.
Hi and welcome to the Natural Birth Podcast, the podcast that is bringing embodied birth wisdom from women from all over the world sharing their natural birth stories. Don't forget to subscribe and download so that you can always have access to these empowering and positive natural birth stories. Hi, my name is Anna and I am the Natural Birth Podcast host. I'm a former midwife who left the system and I'm now the proud founder of Sacred Birth International, a woman-owned company with a mission to revolutionize the birth world and bring focus to the sacred and the natural intelligence of the birth process. We do this by providing world-class education, courses, programs, and coaching to equip women with the knowledge and the tools to have conscious pregnancies, empowering and positive birth experiences, and the most nourishing start possible for themselves and their babies postpartum. We also educate and mentor aspiring birth workers into sacred space holders and physiological birth advocates in the Sacred Birth Worker Mentorship, the Beyond a Doula training. If you'd like to work with me or take any of our courses, programs, or the mentorship, then head on over to sacredbirthinternational.com to find out more. Hi, Marju, and welcome to the Natural Birth Podcast. How are you?
Thank you, Anna. I'm fine, feeling great and excited.
So excited to have you here. Not just because obviously you're one of my beautiful Sacred Birth Worker graduates, but also because you're from Finland. And I think I've only had, I hope I'm not saying the wrong thing, but I think I've only had one. Have I had two? I'm not sure, but like of the 5 years we've been, on air, not many Finnish women have come to share their natural birth stories. So I'm very grateful that you want to come and share and, bring the spotlight over to your side of the world. And you're going to tell us three different birth stories today because you have three babas to share about. The first one being the normal, hospital birth, the second one being also hospital, and then the third being a home birth and the kind of progression, how you've moved through all of them. And of course, ended up also becoming a sacred birth worker and now working with women in your area and online. And it's so exciting to have you also in my business course. You're gonna take over the world, the Finnish birth worker. Woohoo! So welcome. Please take us back to, becoming pregnant the first time and what were your thoughts about birthing? Did you want to have a natural birth the first time? Where was your head at?
All right, so it was 2015 when I got pregnant for the first time. And for my whole life, I've been very kind of natural. I don't eat medicine, like I don't want to go to hospital, doctors, like nothing. So of course, that's the way of living for me. So I got pretty easily pregnant with the first time. So then, of course, I thought that I'm going to have a natural birth. It's just the birth. My mama had very easy birth with me, like 2 hours in the hospital in the 80s, of course, and different things there. But like she was always very neutral. Like you just go there and you birth and that's about it. And my birth was also interesting as my father was there and there was some rush hour in the hospital. So there was only one midwife, my dad and my mom, and my dad was catching the baby. So during that time, it was pretty like special still doing that. So all in all, I was not scared about birth. And as I said, I don't want medication, so I won't take any in the birth either. But then I was not in like Facebook or anything. So I went to the basic prenatal visits, did the basic thing. And in Finland, the option is only home birth. Just like 1 year before, they had closed this small center near me. So they were closing down 10 years ago already, all the small places.
You mean the
So
birth
then,
centers? And you said home birth, but I think you mean you can only birth in hospital in Finland. Yes.
yes,
Which is, I mean,
yes,
you can birth at home, but it's very limited with midwives. Yeah.
yeah. And the basic recommendation is only hospital.
Mm.
So then, of course, I didn't know about home birth. Like there was no Instagram. I was not there. I was not in the Facebook. Like I missed all that kind of thing. So went to the basic prenatals and all that. But all the time in my mind, I had this idea that it doesn't matter that if I stay long at home and the baby's born in the shower.
Mhm. So already
Okay,
then you were like, oh, if I accidentally just have a baby at home, it won't matter. Okay, so you had that mindset already. Okay.
yeah. So my golden plan was that I'll stay as long as possible at home. And then accidentally, if the baby borns home, then it's like, great. Then we'll just be in the shower and call the ambulance and that's it. That was kind of my idea. So I didn't prepare. I did the basic thing, but as you know, that in the prenatals, it's pretty like you don't know anything. So the birth came, and of course, it started with like dropping some water. So,
The waters broke.
yes. So I didn't know anything. In the morning, they start dropping. I start Googling what to do when the waters break. They were coming just a little bit. Then after like an hour, there was the instruction to call the hospital. I called the hospital. They said, you should come immediately to the hospital.
Mm.
So I didn't have any waves or nothing. And I was like, well, I don't want to go there. And I said, well, I'm going to eat first lunch and then I'll come. And they were like, no, you should come.
Ugh.
So it was the end of the year. So the 13th of December.
Oh, wow. The day before New Year's. Okay.
Yeah.
Understaffed. Okay.
So we went to the hospital and we spent the whole day there, just sitting and waiting in the info, listening to the baby, looking at the pants, that is the water brown or green, or is it fine, or what's going on, and waiting for the doctor, of course, doctor never coming and just waiting. So the whole day just sitting there in the corridor. There was very unpleasant midwife there as well, making me cry, saying upsetting things. And of course, I was already upset about that I had to leave home. So it was so horrible, but because I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I didn't have the knowledge.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, that is the general way for most women. If you haven't already employed a doula or you don't have a independent midwife, that maybe have, educated you, or you've done your own education, of course, as well. You can read and you can do courses and whatever. But even so much things can happen in, pre-labor or in labor birth or before even it starts, like water's breaking, that generally birth courses or maybe even doulas and midwives don't talk about either. There's so many things that can happen that you can't like educate yourself to being like a midwife in level of knowledge, really. That's why you just need to, I guess, have people around you that can support you in whatever kind of scenario that happens for you.
Yeah, I agree. That's it. You need to have support so that whatever comes up, you can ask advice and options. So stayed there whole day, went for dinner, came back, and then of course the doctor said you have to stay. That it seems that the water is a little bit greenish or something. That then again, of course, I was there crying like I don't wanna, but I stayed. So then of course my husband went home because nobody can stay there. So stayed alone in the basic kind of room with another mama. And of course upset, everything going wrong. Went to the toilet, put my pants down and my phone dropped to the toilet. So I was totally alone. Like I had to dismantle the phone in order to get it dry. So then like all alone in the hospital where I don't want to be. Luckily there was the one midwife that did the acupuncture. So she put a few needles on me. So I think that kind of relaxed me and kind of break a little bit the thing. At that point, I still was not too aware of mind, the feeling and connection, whole oxytocin, how to keep it up.
I
But
really love
luckily the
this.
waves.
Yeah. I really love this fact that both in Sweden and in Finland, midwives, a lot of midwives have the knowledge of acupuncture for, both to help like strengthen or maybe even induce, and also for pain relief and relaxation in labor and in the hospital. So that's a fun fact that I didn't know before I returned to Sweden from Australia. And yeah, I love that that's a thing here in our countries. At least that's something positive, I think.
Yeah, that was super. That was so perfect for me in that situation. But I just heard that nowadays here in Tampere, in my region, they don't have that anymore in the
What?
hospital. There's no one anymore doing it. So I don't know what's the problem, that did they not support, are they not allowed to, or what's going on? But one of my doula mama went there and they were like, nope, we're not doing it anymore. I was like,
One good thing taken away. I don't
yeah,
know. I feel like it's just usually men in white coats that have opinions and that way, way heavier than good results. I mean, just like you said, both in Finland and in Sweden, birth centers have been shut down, even though they've had excellent results, amazing statistics. Somehow, these men in suits or white coats just I don't know how they can justify it, but they make it happen. They shut them down, and everything just gets, crammed into the big tertiary hospitals where you have everything because of course you have to have everything for it to be safe. But then women will travel 4 hours by car or like birth on the side of the road or all these other stuff because of these crazy decisions to shut down birth centers closer to women or have home birth midwives available in all areas of the country. Anyways, we're not here to talk about this. We're going to continue the birth story. So what happened? Just give us the gist of this first medicalized birth, please.
so then I was just taking in the waves, everything going fine. I was most of the time in the shower on top of the birth ball, trying to move and just making lovely sounds, doing that. So that was the 34st when the
So,
wave started.
so does
So
that,
then the whole night there in the shower alone. So I could have been at home alone as well, but like then in the morning I went to the, what is it called? The birth ward, the birthing room.
yeah.
Then the whole day there. Again, most of the time I wanted to go to the shower. I don't know if there would have been pools available. No one asked, no one said. Doing wonderfully kind of thing, progressing slowly. They're checking me all the time. So then again, because I didn't know, in one point they said that maybe you should take the epidural, that like you could sleep, like you could just kind of get a little pause and sleep.
So can
I
I
think I,
ask you one thing, Marju? So, did it start naturally or did someone, yeah, okay, so it did. I mean, that's a positive thing. You were in the hospital, you weren't feeling very comfortable, even so your body took over, which is amazing. And most women, when they break their waters, they will go into labor within the first 24 hours, which is also why, really, if you are in tune with your body and your baby's happy and you can feel your baby move and the waters are clear, and even if they're not, like, there is just really no evidence that because there's meconium, your baby's in distress. That's more linked to having a stressed baby in labor and birth. However, just staying at home is also an option, and just checking for infection, signs of infection, and just having, connection with someone you trust that knows about birth, like a independent midwife or a very well-versed doula like yourself, like a sacred birth worker. Anyways, I was just curious because you never said anything about how it started. So it was a natural start, but then they said, "Oh, you should have an epidural," and I'm guessing you folded.
Yep. Yeah. So the acupuncture did great. I wish I could have had that more and not the epidural. But yeah, so I thought like, well, okay, I guess I need to sleep. Again, didn't know better. Took a one shot. It helped a little. I slept little. My husband went outside to eat. Then took another one, but that didn't help at all. Like even with the first one, I had horrible pains in my butt on the right side. So it was something was like not good. I didn't treat my body well during the pregnancy, so didn't go check my hips or anything and massage. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a really good thing actually to go and get yourself aligned, not for an epidural, but just for birth in general, in pregnancy. Um, but that's also the thing with epidurals. Sometimes they don't work. I mean, a lot of times they work like half of the body or partially or not covering or whatever. It doesn't mean that if you get an epidural that necessarily it works. Sometimes I've had clients who've had like 3 tries, 4 tries, and it still doesn't work, doesn't take, or it doesn't, it's only half the body, or yeah. Mm.
yeah. So not a lot of help from that. Maybe some for a short while, but then she came kind of in the end, like kind of pretty easily it went. I was sitting on top of this warm gel pad, sitting and then getting up, sitting, getting up,
Mm.
like heating my perineum kind of thing. Because I was saying that, of course, I don't want anything there. So that was respected. And I was pushing mostly on my fours, like on the bed and then on the side. So pretty okay. And yeah, so then she came. No tears, nothing too much, and pretty good. Good. Got her pretty fast to the chest and all good from that.
Beautiful. I'm curious, what is that heating gel or whatever you're talking about? Was that provided by the hospital?
Yeah. So it's this size kind of big gel glomp thing that you heat in the microwave.
Mm.
You can use it wherever, like on stomach, on the back,
Yeah.
just to
Oh,
bring it
like
warm.
what are these called? Like the wheat bags or whatever you can heat
Yeah.
in the microwave, similar to that. Oh, that's interesting. That's a clever trick for like warmth to the perineum. Interesting. I mean, there's evidence on the warm compress on the perineum, which is obviously the same if you're sitting on something warm. Curious, very curious. Thanks for sharing that. That I haven't heard that before, a warm jelly thing. Interesting. So, okay, so you had your first birth. How did you feel about that birth at that time? Like, how did you feel after that?
Well, it was in the midnight. I went until 3:40 or 3:20 something. So it was on the 1st of January. She was born. So it was the second baby in this big region that I live in. So the next day they asked like that the paper wants to make a story about the first baby. But the first baby, who was really born first, didn't want to go to the newspaper. So then they asked me, and I was like, of course, like woohoo, I want. So they made a story about us. We got to the front page of the paper, and of course, at that flow of like oxygen still, and you got the baby, like I was like maybe rating it like 9 out of 10, even though like the midwife made me cry on the first day, and like no one was there, and I didn't get kind of any support. And but in that first day, you always rate the birth like excellent, and
Yeah,
it's not
most
the
of the
truth.
time, right? Because you're high on love for your baby, of course. Yeah. So if anyone's listening and you're wondering, so in Sweden and Finland, and I'm not sure about all the countries in the world, but um they kind of come around the day after the birth and they want you to rate the birth for statistics. And of course, most women, even if it was maybe a traumatic birth, um, rate it high. They should really do this check 6 weeks, 8 weeks anonymously at home to get the true statistics of what women actually feel, because we know obviously that 1 in 3 women do report that they had a traumatic birth and 1 in 20 actually have PTSD after birth. So what they are saying the day after birth is not necessarily at all the the truth about how they feel. And that is also due to the amazing hormones that we have as women, the oxytocin flooding our bodies, which is, thank goodness for that, right? Thank goodness for that. So, but that was a cute little story. So, how long before you got pregnant again, and your decision then to have another hospital birth?
Well, the first year with the baby was pretty rough, like a lot of crying, a lot of like kind of very hard postpartum. Again, of course, didn't prepare for postpartum because I didn't even prepare for the birth. So challenging times with my mother, me, husband, like everything growing into new roles. So that was hard. So I guess only around 2 years, I started feeling like, oh, I'm getting my energy back. Now things are gonna kind of get easier. That only that time I started thinking like, okay, maybe another one could come. So between the two, there's like 3 years, the first and the second. And again, pretty easily I got pregnant. And it's weird that I don't remember much at all in the second about the second pregnancy, because when you have the toddler there, so I guess it just goes by. My pregnancies has been always pretty easy going, nothing much there. So during this time, I had an Instagram. I was following one lady, Maria, who was kind of course I did as well about the power of the mind and the body kind of connection. And she was pregnant and she was going towards a home birth. But still, I don't understand how it didn't kind of go through to me that I could plan a home birth as well. So I was following her. I understood that she's gonna home birth, but I didn't kind of understand at all. So I did the basic prenatals again. I don't even know what we were kind of planning and thinking for the birth, that how to go there. I guess we were planning that my mom will come with the small one, the first one, because you can't take them to the hospital, children. But I think it was pretty like super unprepared again, like not thinking too much of it. But still, I had some knowledge, maybe from this lady I followed and some accounts that I followed. Because the second birth was very enjoyable. It was super nice. So in the morning, I had some little feelings, like 5, 6 o'clock or something. Went to the sofa, tried to still relax. Then moved to the bedroom when the husband and first child woke up. And then the next 4 hours kind of thing, I was just on the bed, kind of half sitting, kind of upright sitting position. I had some Christmas songs playing because it was again December, but now it was the start of the December. There was some little snow dropping I could see the curtains were down. I could see a little snow coming, winter songs. It was perfect oxytocin boost. I was there singing, moving, enjoying the waves. Like every single wave was amazing. Like I was just like taking it in, riding the wave, and it was so beautiful. I could see like a feather going all the time, and I was blowing the feather with my breathing. I would just see the feather going, and it was so enjoyable. It was so nice. Then my husband opens the door and asks like, oh, do you want something? And I turn at him and immediately kind of super strong emotions comes like, and I'm like, out. So immediately when I got back into my bubble, it was again, it was so nice. So I really like being alone in birth. Like I don't need anything. I really enjoy diving into my body and kind of like really feeling the wave, because that's why I think that's the best way you can really know what to do. Like, where does your body want to take you? And it really needs concentration, that you can concentrate on yourself and on your body. So it was amazing. 4 hours went there like boom. Then again, I got this, like my body started to lift me up. I felt like, okay, I need to get up. And I got up. And then a little blood came. And again, as I was not prepared, I did not have any knowledge. I kind of freaked out a little. It's like, oh my God, blood. Like again, what wasn't I thinking anything like? But yeah, so
Blood
I
is a
got
part of
nervous.
birth, yes, and especially as you're getting into active labor, yeah.
So I was a little nervous, like blood, what's going on? I don't know. Went to the toilet, little coming out. It was little, like I put a pad and it was just little there, but still freaking out. No one to call or ask, no support. So I called to the hospital and they had this kind of like wait in the line, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait here, and then like they're gonna call me back in 10 minutes, and I was like, okay, getting nervous, and then of course the feelings in the body become super strong as well, because you're nervous, you're tensing. So I was getting strong waves there. So I was looking at my phone, the minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 10 minutes, and nobody calls. I'm like, what? So I called the 911. So, because I don't know, I was freaking out. Like, I didn't know what to do. If I would have had the knowledge, it would have been like 30 minutes and the baby would have been born at home. But like, I didn't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? When you get afraid and when you tense, and then also things get worse, like the pain gets worse and all of that. But also, of course, you also kind of hold against as well at the same time. Um, Whereas if you had trusted the process, as you said, you might have just birthed in that room where you were jiving and blowing that feather away and swaying and having good time. Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like that was a bloody show close to birth, as you were probably fully dilated at that time.
Yeah.
So what
So
happened?
the ambulance came. We live kind of nearby, so it was maybe like 5-10 minutes that they came in, and because the 911 at the emergency center was kind of listening to me, and when I was getting strong waves, she was like, okay, that we'll send. I was saying that, like, should I get a taxi? Like, how should I go to the hospital? And like I was calm but having strong waves. And then she was like, no, we're gonna send you an ambulance. I was like, well, fine, send it away. So they came in and they was like that, okay, let's go. So I was picking my stuffs and going to the ambulance in the back, and then they was like, okay, we are now going to put you the IV.
Oh,
And luckily, and I have to say, I'm not sure where did I learn this, so at least I had some information. I had got pieces and pieces like from here, and I said no. I said, you don't need IV drop in birth. That no, you are not allowed. Like, no. And they were like, oh my God. And no, we're going to put it. And I said, no, I have my water bottle. I'm going to drink from here. Like, let's go. And they were so shocked, like, but, but, but luckily they didn't put the IV drop.
yeah, because you declined, which is your right to do. And they have to
Yeah.
obey, they have to listen, they have to get informed consent to do anything to your body and to you.
Yeah. So like luckily I knew that. I don't know from where, but I knew that definitely in a normal birth you don't need an IV. They didn't know. So then we went to the hospital. Of course, not a nice way there because you need to lie down. And that was the point where my body had already wanted to be upright position. So got to the hospital and I heard from the side ear that they were saying to the midwife like that, yeah, this mama and the mother didn't want the IV, so we couldn't put it. And luckily the midwife was there and said like, yes, you don't need to put it. Like you, pregnant women, normal labor, you don't need to put it. And they were like, oh, okay. So they got some education on that as well.
Well, I guess it's
So
very
got to the
rare for
info.
them, it's very rare for them to see a natural birth, right? They're ambulance people. They usually go where there's an emergency, and this wasn't an emergency, so their approach is to treat it as that, isn't it? That's their job. And so, I mean, that's good for them to know because sometimes they're going to rock up at a birth that is totally fine and normal, and someone's just called just like you because they don't know and they're scared and they want to have someone there, and that's fine too. So it's good for them to know also how to treat normal.
Yeah. So went to the info and they were, of course, they were saying that, okay, we'll check you first and then let's see. And I was like, okay. I was putting the hospital dress. Again, I didn't know any options better. And then I was like that, there's some ball coming out of me. So the water was coming already there, dropping. And then they were like, okay, well, let's move you straight to the ward. So then I got to the room where to give birth. And again, quite fuzzy. So I think I've been there in the room like 20 minutes before the baby has been born, or in the hospital like 20, 30 minutes altogether before she was born. Of course, when I've written my paper at this point, I don't remember if they asked and how did they ask. So I guess they have break the water and they have put the scalp in it, in
Excuse
her.
me, what? So they had time in that 20 minutes to break your waters and put a scalp electrode on. What?
Yep.
That is
Yeah.
crazy. Instead of just letting you birth your baby. Right.
And
That's
again, I didn't know. I don't know. Like, I'm sure they have used this language. Like, that's the problem, that they use this kind of language that if you don't know, you don't even understand. They call it a little clip or
yeah.
this little dim bitty dim, and you don't even understand what the scalp really is about. So of
It's
course it's
yeah.
like, oh, little clip. Okay, great. Listen, the baby, great. But of course, when you don't have info, you don't understand what it really means when they're kind of just little clip.
So for anyone listening, a scalp electrode is actually a screw that is screwed into the top of your baby's head. And I mean, gosh, today I think 90% of babies are born with scalp electrodes, especially in countries that do CTGs as a routine. And some babies are left with scars for life on the top of their heads, and there's risk of infection. And of course, it's painful to screw something into your head. Just imagine yourself having something screwed into your head, even though it's just underneath the skin, it still is a screw into your head. And they make it sound like it's just, yeah, like you said, oh, it's just a clip and it doesn't hurt, which is also crazy to say that about a sentient being, about a beautiful baby that is unborn, even having something screwed inside its head. It's just remarkable to me how common it is when also the evidence of its, benefits are not there at all. Just like CTG, scalp electrodes do not show any improvement in the outcomes of babies. What it does show is increased, obviously interventions, cesarean rate, vacuum, forceps, all the things, episiotomies, all of that increase, of course, because when you then rely on looking at a monitor of how the baby's doing, and that monitor is not reliable, it's only a screening tool and it's a very poor screening tool, the outcomes don't tend to match what actually women and the healthcare professionals want.
Yeah. So my little one has a little mark here that you
Right.
can like still see where's no hair growing. Luckily, no infection or anything kind of bigger. But of course, I feel bad about that I didn't know like that, because especially in that moment, in that birth, like the baby was just coming in. Like I'm sure the head was like almost there. Like, why do you start screwing anything
Mm.
in there? Like, yeah, upset about, of course, myself, but I didn't know again. I didn't know better.
No,
Not
and
the
that's the
option.
thing. We can only do what we, the best of our ability and to what we know at that time. And we have to have grace and compassion for the person that we were. We always do the best we can with the knowledge and understanding we have, always. So anyone listening to who, have gone down this path like you, maybe with their previous babies, it's really important, I think, to have that grace and compassion and self-love and understanding for the person you were. And just because you know things now doesn't change that. And you didn't know. You didn't know. So baby comes out.
Yeah, so I think I was on my side, pushing on the bed on my side, because that again I had at least some knowledge that the sitting on top of your backbone doesn't help. So I was lying on the side, giving birth there, and the baby was straight. Like I didn't catch her. I didn't kind of, I guess I didn't want to even touch then, didn't know even maybe that you could touch the baby's head when it's coming and feeling yourself. So the baby was born somewhere there, midwife taking it. And I was just wondering like what's going on. And I was trying to look like a bit. I saw the baby there on the table, and I saw that there's color. I saw that the whole body was like pink. For me, it showed like, okay, okay, it's pink, but I didn't hear crying. That was the thing. Like it was quiet, but I could see that the baby had color. And then, phew, they they go away.
They took your baby away outside of the room.
Yeah. So at this moment, of course, the midwives say to you that we cannot tell anything what's going on, that like we'll let you know when we can tell you something. So I was there alone. Like I had gone alone with the ambulance. My husband was with my first child, of course, at home. So I was alone there in the hospital. The midwife kind of disappeared. I feel like that I was most of the time alone in the room. And then she came and I was asking, of course, so what's going on? She said like that, yeah, I can't tell you yet. So I was just like there alone. But somehow the whole birth, like the time at home, had been so enjoyable. And I had seen this feather, and the feather somehow links to me, of course, to angels. And somehow I had this inner peace that everything is fine, that she's fine, everything is fine. And I was in pretty good state myself because I had my inner peace, but I was all alone. Like no one took care of me, no one told me anything, and I was just there waiting with like, I don't know, I guess it's must have been like altogether like 20 minutes, 30 minutes or something kind of thing. So at least so there had come some minutes has passed away, like I don't know how many, but the midwife comes and said that okay, because of the baby has been taken away, that we're gonna now put the synthetic oxytocin so that we get the placenta out.
Yeah.
And I was again, I didn't have knowledge about anything, options, anything. So I just said, okay.
Yeah. And when did you hear and get your baby back and what happened?
Uh, so this is a little fuzzy. Even in my hospital records, it doesn't say much. I had some emails and something that I have shared about that there was a cord around the neck. And as we know, that doesn't kind of
That doesn't
that
matter. The
that
baby's out or the baby's pink, the baby's, that doesn't matter then. And
Mhm.
else?
Then I had one kind of email that I had sent to my like acupuncturist who did a treatment like 2 days before the birth to me, where I have written that the cord snapped.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very like I'm very uncertain like what exactly happened there. But the thing was that like she was not breathing. Like that was the thing that they said, that she was not breathing, and that's why they took it out. And that, but the message then afterwards, or for the whole day, was that she kind of started immediately breathing when they gave a little oxygen like nearby. So
Yeah.
she very fastly. So she didn't have a kind of big trouble or anything. But I'm a bit uncertain, did they cut the cord and take her, or was the cord snapped?
Yeah, right.
But again, I didn't get her to my chest. They didn't do anything on me, as we know that they could have helped the baby to get some oxygen on my skin, on me. But
Absolutely.
no, in Finland, they don't do the helping with the baby next to the mama. It's old school. They
Yeah.
don't go with the newest results of science, but they take the baby always out of the room.
That's very common all over the world. And it is a shame that both Sweden and Finland and many other countries have their resuscitation equipment outside of the room, which is also a very old school idea of like not showing the mother, but actually it's been shown that it's better to do it in the same room on a resuscitation table if you need that, so that the mother can see and be a part of it, because it's terrible to not know and be there for half an hour not knowing what's happening to your baby. That's much more traumatic than actually being there and seeing how, they're trying to help your baby. So, I mean, it sounds like very much like they were kind of scared. You came with an ambulance. They couldn't hear the baby because the baby was so low, probably. So they wanted to scalp electrode, even though the baby was just being born. And then it came out, maybe the cord snapped. And even though the baby looked good, and maybe it just needed a bit of a minute, really, like any baby, to breathe. And so often when staff is scared and they're scared of birth and they see so much shit go down, because that's what happens in hospital, they are not comfortable to wait for just the normal natural transition of babies. So a lot of babies have this experience even though they don't need it. And we don't know if your baby needed it or not, but I'm just saying that, a lot of babies do have this unnecessarily because of the fear in the practitioner. All right, so this was your second experience. So what happens between this one and now diving into your home birth story? Because I think everyone wants to hear everything about your home birth story. Like, what happened? What shifted in you that made you go, hey, I'm not doing this again?
Yeah, so with my second, when I was at home, not working and staying home with the baby, of course, already with the first one came a little bit like, but what's my life about? When you're home away from everything, you start thinking like, so that like, what am I meant to do here? Like the thing that I'm doing now here, so I was thinking a lot about that what direction should I go in my life? What should I do? So then I noticed this ad about transformative coaching, and I signed into that to become this kind of, again, understand more about the mind, help people in different kind of transformative situation in life. And I went into this school, or this mentorship, and I met there a woman who had given birth at home. And I was like, now in kind of real flesh and skin, I met someone who had given birth at home. So we were going through the same coaching program, and she had already made little kind of documentary or interview in kind of Finnish TV. So I watched her story in that as well. And when I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, the next time, if I'm going to birth, I'm so definitely going to birth at home. And then it like finally, like I had that wish on the first one already, the accident wish for home birth. And now it really clicked that you need to plan it. You can plan for your home birth. You can decide that you're going to have a home birth. Because when I met her, it was then like, okay, this is real thing. people do give birth at home, and it was so good to talk with her about it, and she was there kind of close to me kind of thing. So I was not pregnant yet, but there was already the strong decision that if I ever gonna come pregnant anymore, it's gonna be a home birth. So then a few months later, kind of little surprise, not to plan, but I got pregnant. So of course it was immediately like I knew it from the day one, because I knew it already before that this time I'm gonna have a home birth. And from the second one, like it ended up kind of it emergency. I really didn't have any kind of fear from that, because I had this feeling that there was really there was no emergency, that if baby would have been on my chest, maybe some even air, but like it would have been fine. I had this kind of inner wisdom, knowing feeling, I don't know, yes or no, but it didn't really kind of stop me thinking that, oh, great that I was in the hospital, that definitely at home this would have been a catastrophe. I didn't have that feeling at all. The only feeling was that like I would have been more safe at home with my baby, and my baby would have been safer at home in the second time also. So I was really like in peace and kind of happy with that kind of idea of like birthing at home. I had already said to my husband, like before I was pregnant, that that if we're ever gonna have babies anymore, we didn't know yet, that like I'm gonna birth at home. And he was like, what's that? No. He definitely, he's not into the birth world too much, and like a bit nervous about all that thing. So when I got pregnant and told him again that like I'm gonna give birth at home, he said like no. But because I believe that it's the mother's choice, that like when the husband gives birth, he can decide himself then where to give birth. But as I'm giving birth, it's my right to kind of choose where I feel the safest, where I want to give birth. So he gave his opinion, but like that didn't change mine either.
So did you find a midwife that you liked?
Yeah. So because my husband was not so supportive, then definitely, of course, I thought that I want help, and I want some support at home with me. Of course, it's good to have someone for the road. So there was a list of like midwives in Finland in one page. And this friend of mine from the coaching kind of group, she got pregnant as well at the same time. So there was the list of midwives, and I knew that the first one was the midwife that was on her home birth before. So I thought I'll skip that one, that maybe she was the same one. So I'll go to the next one. So I called that one, and everybody always says that like talk with many people and like see. But when I called my midwife, it was immediately, I was like, yep, this is it. Like, this is my person that really felt good on the phone. Then, of course, met in person later on as well. But immediately had a very good feeling about her and how she's doing her job, like how she's supporting and her energy and all the things. So that I chose her then immediately, like from that.
Beautiful. And so, did you do anything different this time in preparation? Did you read something, take any other courses, or did you feel like now I'm just going to birth at home and I know what I'm doing?
Well, I was at the same time doing the coaching program. So again, there was a lot of like work with like connecting to your body. Again, I learned about the nervous system. So I was learning there kind of the basics of like just about the connecting body, the safety, how important that is to our body, of course, and how to bring understand the nervous system and different stages, and that like fight or flight is not the stage to have birth in. So through that, I kind of had the basics of like knowledge that was not about birth, but it was so much kind of about the power of the mind and the connection with the body. With the midwife, we of course discussed then some topics then more about birth, but I didn't feel like that I needed a lot information anymore. Of course, giving birth 2 times, you kind of know a little bit about like what's gonna happen, what's going on. I asked, of course, a little bit about what she's doing in some like different situations, but also then trusting her that like she's the midwife, she has her knowledge, she's there like because of that.
Yeah.
That I don't need to be a midwife, as you said as well, that like the mother doesn't need to be a midwife, you can't learn everything. So that's why I had the wise woman with me.
Beautiful.
To walk with me the path.
So tell us now, how did labor start for you? Did you have any signs of labor approaching, or did it just start with a bang?
So it was Thursday. And again, a lot to learn still from the 3rd time. It was Thursday, and I was thinking that maybe the baby should come on the weekend. I'm not ready yet. It's Thursday. There's still a few things to go. So I hadn't prepared the room. I hadn't put stuff like nearby because it was Thursday. The baby was meant to come on the weekend. So on Thursday at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I went to the center to buy some few stuff for the baby still. My husband drove me there. I got up from the car and immediately I got a first wave and I had this heat on my back. And I was like, this is different. This is like something's going on. My husband left with the car to physiotherapy and I was meant to go to the shopping. But immediately I noticed that like there's something going on. So I went to the toilet, like immediately came the need that, okay, I need to go to the toilet to empty my bowel, empty the system. And then the wave started coming already like pretty regularly there. I was in the shop, needed to pause and breathe. So I think they were already coming at like every 10 to 15 minutes when I was there. And I was just like wishing that, my husband would come fast, that I just want to get home.
Yeah.
Like it was so horrible to walk there when you're getting waves that I really enjoyed my second labor where I was just in bed doing nothing and relaxing. That feels the best for me. Now when I was walking, it was so bad. Like it was rough. So I was just eagerly waiting that he's gonna like come to pick me up. I already sent some message to my wise woman and saying that I have some sensations and like, let's see. And she was like, yeah, let's see. It's your 3rd birth that, it might come and go that, we'll see. So my husband picks me up around like 4. So luckily in 1 hour, we come home. So I start kind of relaxing a little bit, got to the bed, putting some meditation on my headphones and trying to relax. But then comes all these ideas, no, I need to get the tube for the water and where are the towels? And now I get that thing. And so I start kind of walking around the house and taking all this stuff. And again, the moving is so bad. Like going up the stairs or coming down, and it was like, I don't want to move. I just want to relax and be. So there was a bit of hassling in this birth, which was not so great, so not greatly planned. And again, I guess my husband could have done all of this, but I was doing it myself. And I guess it's good to say here that as he was not so into the birth and he didn't want me to birth at home, The idea was that he's going to be with the children, so my two oldest children, and I said that like, you can go outside, you can be wherever, and if the children wants to come, they can come and look, but like, you don't need to be in the birth. Like, if you don't want, if you're scared about the birth, I don't want you there. And I have my midwife, you're with the children, and like, you can stay somewhere. But I was my husband went and picked the children from the daycare and school, or daycare that time still. So I got a little like peaceful time there alone in the bed and picking the stuff. Then the kids came home. So the second was like, she was like 2.5 years, almost 3. So this birth was in August. So in December, the youngest one would have been 3. So she didn't kind of understand. She was talking to me, going on top of my belly, like, what's going on, Mom? Why you don't talk? So there was a lot of hasslement, and I noticed again that like, I can't connect to my body. I can't get to this kind of flow like I did in the second birth, because there was so much interruptions around me. The children, my husband. So it's very difficult to kind of close everything and listen to the body and go to the flow. So it was pretty challenging. The waves were pretty challenging, because I had to kind of be worried about my husband and the children and everything. And at this point, like 4 p.m., I was at home, children coming home. Well, then they luckily went to eat some dinner and went outside. So around from 5 to 6, I got luckily a little peaceful time alone. So I could really like tune into my body again, go into my deep bubble and enjoy the waves. So immediately again, when I could be alone, they were nice. The sensations were beautiful. The waves were lovely. I was enjoying. I was sending some messages to the midwife, like, what's going on? And I was like, yeah, no hurry, I'm fine. Let's see, I don't know. But later on, I guess it was coming already like 6:30 maybe. The waves were coming every 3 minutes. But I was saying to the midwife, like, yeah, no, maybe they come in 10 minutes. I don't know. There's no hurry. So again, I get this feeling that I need to get up. Like, I was lying there on my bed again, and I get this feeling that, okay, I need to get up. So I get up and I hear the sound, box, and the water breaks. And it was like, the sound is so amazing. It was really like a box, and the waters break. So maybe in this point, I tell the midwife, or we agreed that she'll come at 7 p.m. or something. I guess we had informed or like agreed that it's fine, come whenever, 7 is fine. So maybe around like 6:30, the waters break. And somehow I feel like that I need to go to the toilet, that maybe there's again coming a lot of blood or something, that I'll go to the toilet. But there in the toilet, the waves were super intensive. They were like so strong. I was roaring, like I was making beautiful, strong sounds and like letting it all out. But it was very, very strong. And then at the same time, of course, my youngest one was a little bit like that, Mom, come and give me some like snacks and come out of the toilet and please come. So I get a little bit this, when the children are there, that little hasslement with them. So they were not totally in kind of with my husband. Maybe it was the thing that my husband was so stressed. So he was nervous and stressed. So I believe that, of course, the children can't calm down so easily either. So she was coming a bit towards me and wanting mama, and I was roaring and having super intensive moment there. And then my midwives come. So this yeah, it should have been maybe at 7 p.m. that the water breaks. Anyways, my midwife comes, she comes in and immediately like, wow, great sounds, how are you doing? And I was like, just pool. I want you to get to the pool immediately, water, pool. So she starts filling the pool, which my husband had pumped in during all this time or between there. So she's putting the water into the pool, and I'm like, I'm gonna go there immediately. So I went into the pool immediately, even though there was no water. Going there, she was putting the water on my lower back, feeling very nice. I was there on my all fours, and sometimes lifting it up and being on my knees and an upright position, enjoying having like super strong sensations. My children and my husband were downstairs looking at some children's stuff on the iPad and having super strong sensation. I was saying that the baby's coming soon. So she was like, well, there's no water yet. Like there's very little water. That like if the baby's coming now, you need to come out of the pool. I was like, oh, like you don't want to move in that second. And I was like, no, I don't want to move anymore. I just want to be here. And I was like, okay, it's not gonna come yet. Let's wait a while. So luckily, little time passed, but there was little water in there. So there was not too much of water. So I really haven't enjoyed this kind of water birth where you relax in the water, and I haven't felt that. So she was just reminding all the time that keep your butt down, very down, that if the baby's coming now, that it goes like on under the water and not the air water kind of thing. So she was there. I was holding her hand strongly. I was feeling the head this time. So I felt myself, the head, that, oh, the baby's here. It's coming. And I think my oldest one heard that already, that like I can feel the baby's coming. So the baby came just with a one push there. I caught herself, of course, to me and got it straight into my chest. And I said like out loud, like the baby's here. So my oldest one heard that, and she was the one kind of first saying, yeah, the baby's here, let's go up. And she came upstairs, and then like my husband and the youngest one came on the first minute of the baby being born, and they could meet her immediately. So that was like the best part as well, that they could be there immediately when she was born and see her and meet the sister. So that's like one of the beauties that I really liked of the home birth.
Mm.
And there she was on my chest. Took a little, again, very little while. Like the midwife says that, yeah, you can welcome her, like talk to her. So I was saying like, welcome to the world, like I'm here. She said, oh, you can rub her toes a little. So it took a little time before she started like crying, but very short, and you could see that in the picture as well, that the cord was pumping. So all fine. She was pink. All perfect.
And so she was born underwater. She did have a water birth. Yeah, beautiful. And sometimes, yeah, actually a lot of times water babies are quite not all, but many are a bit slow to make a cry, or you know, they're usually quite alert and they have tone and good color, but they can take a while to take the first breath because of that gentle transition. It's almost like they don't really know that they're being born. It's, it's just, yeah, such a different vibe, water births.
Yeah, she had her eyes fully open. She was definitely super alert, like watching. So a bit like, so come on, breathe in. Like it seemed like she's fully awake, fully here, but like just kind of, yeah, not immediately
Yeah.
understanding that, oh, now it's time to breathe as well and
Yeah, yeah, for
figure
sure.
it out.
Beautiful. Did you end up staying in the pool for a while and enjoying the pool, or did you get out?
Well, I enjoyed maybe like 5 minutes, 10 minutes or whatever. Then my youngest, oh, well, the middle one, she was like, Mom, come out of the pool. So the middle one didn't want me to be in the pool. And of course, yeah, not too much water there, so it was fine. Got out of the pool into the bed next to it. So then lying down on the bed, my own bed with everybody there. So that was pretty nice as well. Till the placenta came then there on the bed when breastfeeding and lying there
Beautiful.
with my baby.
And how does your husband feel about home birth after that? Did he change his mind?
Uh, well, I think like as he had to do like pumping the pool and he had to manage it. I think he didn't like that, like because he was nervous. Like he's a little nervous guy, and he has his fears. So again, I think like he's from Kosovo, so in his tradition, it's more like there's a lot of things that are men thing, a lot of things are women thing. So I guess like the birth is a women thing. So it's not so like that he's like learned to be part of it, and he doesn't have this kind of inner sense of like really wants to be in part of that. So not actually sure that like if you would want another one at home, but like I guess he appreciates that there's someone else to support as well, that he
Yeah.
doesn't need to manage all the things.
Yeah.
And that's good when if there is children, like older children. So of course there's a lot of stuff going around and cleaning and all that. So it's good to have support.
Yeah. Beautiful. So, if you had a first-time mama in front of you right now who's about to have her first baby and she really wants to have a natural and empowering birth experience, what advice and pearls of wisdoms would you give to her?
Well, get information, because if you don't know, you don't have options then. Like I didn't know that you can birth your baby at home. So I just couldn't decide that. So again, tune in what feels safest for you, what feels good for you, and listen that inner voice. If there's a calling like accidental home birth, maybe kind of start getting some information so that like, is that a path that you should go into? Like listen to those kind of small hints that are coming to your mind. Tune in and then get help and support. That kind of support that really supports your wishes and wants. And especially the first time, the first birth is super intensive. It's a big transformation to become a mother. So of course, like you need support during this big time. So appreciate yourself so much that you take that support in. Like you deserve that. You
Yeah.
deserve support.
Yeah, like not even like you need it, like you deserve it. You're worthy of it. um, to really reframe this in our minds that, especially the first time, as you say, is the biggest one, the rite of passage from maiden to mother. It's such a huge transition. Every birth is big, but the first one is obviously so much, is the unknown, totally on all levels. So, like bringing that support for yourself, you are worthy of that. Your baby's worthy of that. Your family. Take it seriously, value yourself and this massive portal you're going to go through.
Yeah, so that you don't just like throw it with the luck. The like, well, let's hope that it's gonna be a good birth. Let's hope that it's gonna be a home birth. Like,
Yeah.
let's accidentally get some good kind of thing going on. No, don't leave it on the luck.
Yeah,
Like,
not going with the flow. Yeah. You go with the flow after you've prepped, after you've prepared and everything, like when the first contraction hits. But before that, like, yeah, put your all into that and see it for the big rite of passage that it is. And not just the birth, right? Like you said, your first time around, your postpartum was really hard. And unfortunately, that is the case for most women. Also, the ones who plan for a natural birth, also those who have home birth. So many do not plan for their postpartum or think that, oh, just a meal train, a bit of food in the fridge, maybe mom will come around, maybe. But like there's this emotional, mental, spiritual, cultural shift that's going to happen, an identity shift within you that very much resembles a crisis, especially the first time around, as the maiden needs to die and the mother needs to be birthed, and bring in the support and prepare on all levels for it, not just the physical event of the birth.
And also, I feel like many also think that, well, the first one is here, but like I'll do something on the second time or something. But like you will never know if this is your only birth.
Yeah.
Like that you really should, of course, give all to that and this moment. And as you said, like it's so lovely to put all the good things around you and support you and like take it all in, enjoy it.
Yes, and if you're listening from Finland, Marju offers an online program for pregnant mamas preparing for having their birth, and anywhere you are in Finland, she can invite you in, so reach out to her. Thank you so much, Marju, for coming and sharing your birth stories in Finland. Yay!
Thank you, Anna. So honored to be part of this. I've listened many of your podcasts before, of course, contacting you and going to the mentorships. So they're so full of information, and it's so important to hear these stories and learn, because that's the thing. You don't need to kind of do yourself 3 times wrong and get it then better. So you can learn from others and already do a lot of things great for your first one.
Yeah.
Learn from others.
Yes. Thank you so much, Marju. Thank you for listening. If you love this podcast, then please consider sharing it, leave a review, or make a contribution on our Patreon page. And if you want to connect on social media, then find the podcast on Instagram as The Natural Birth Podcast. Thank you for listening.